to the Wildflower Magic Podcast. I am your host, Katie. I am coming to you from Virginia, the coast of Virginia, where I live with my partner, Alan, our 2 large dogs, and our 2 very small cats. The dogs are outside playing right now, but the cats are in this room playing right now, so you might hear some background noise from them. This is mostly a knitting podcast with some other crafty goodness sprinkled throughout, but today I have mostly knitting for you. Actually, all knitting, I think. So let's dive right in. The first thing we're going to talk about is my finished object that I am wearing. This is my Lisbon Cardigan. It was a test knit for Knitsplace. I just finished it a couple days ago. It is a worsted weight all over lacy cardigan. It's knit top down, back and forth, and then the sleeves are picked up in the round, and the button band is knit along with everything, so you don't have to pick up for it afterwards. The yarn that I used is Sugarplum Circus. This is the color Bubbly on the Sugarplum worsted base, which is 100% superwash merino. Jensen's colors are just gorgeous. Okay, so this was a test knit. The release date, to my knowledge, I have not heard that it's been announced yet, so I'm not sure when this is going to come out, but I will post on my Instagram when it does. Oh, I guess I should say, all the links to where you can find me, plus links to like whoever I talk about, is going to be in the description box below, so just click the see more underneath the title. So, I cropped this kind of a lot. So my belly button is like right here, right about where this last button falls. So this is my natural waist. The pattern calls for like hip length, which for me would be like way down here. So I did crop it a lot. The reason that I cropped it is because I'm probably going to wear this mostly with dresses and like high-waisted skirts. And so I thought that would be a better length. The other modification that I did was I changed the sleeves up a little bit. So the original pattern does not have decreases going down the sleeve, but she calls for, it's kind of a rapid decrease round right before the cuff, but she doesn't decrease a lot. I increased that decrease rate a lot. Like I more than doubled it so that it was a really tight cuff, so that it made this really big balloon sleeve effect. Because I think it looks so cute. Other modifications. I think the only other modification I did was that I got bigger buttons than what was called for in the pattern. She called for a 1.8 centimeter button, and these are 2.2 centimeter buttons. I was a little worried that the 1.8 centimeters buttons would just pop right out. So I went up a little bit, and it's not hard to get them off. So I think I went with the correct size. I actually sewed another button onto the back. I don't know if you can see that very well. So I basically sewed 2 buttons together with the fabric in the middle. And the reason that I did that is because I was a little bit worried about the buttons being floppy or like wobbly when I sewed them on, especially because they only have 2 holes on them. So I sewed another button to the back, and that helps a lot with stability. I actually learned that trick because I was doing it for pom-poms on hats. Like I was sewing the pom-pom to a button. Does that make sense? I'd put a button inside the hat and then the pom-pom on top of the hat and sew the pom-pom to the button. And that helps it from being so floppy. So I decided to try it with this. It's only been a few days since I have finished this, but so far I really like how it fits and I like the stability of the buttons. I don't feel the buttons on the inside, even like I don't have really anything right here and I don't feel them, or like they don't bother me at all. So I think that was a good choice so far. I'll let you know how it holds up later on after I've worn it more than a couple days. I finished this cardigan just in time to wear it with my ball gown when my partner and I went to the submarine birthday ball this weekend. So I got to wear this with my beautiful ball gown. They went together so beautifully. I loved the outfit. I loved how it looked. And it was perfect for going in and out of the venue because the venue was hot, but outside was very chilly. These April evenings get really cold still. So it was perfect for that. I really liked it. Hopefully I've put some pictures in so you can see. I finished it just in time. Like, I was sewing the buttons on Friday morning, and we went to the sub all Friday night. So I finished it just in time. Okay, do I have anything else that I want to say about this? I don't think so. I think I told you that I'm not sure when the test date is going to be released yet. Test date? No. When the pattern is going to be released yet. I don't know that date. But when I do, I will post it on Instagram. Okay, so let's talk about my next finished object. Spring has sprung. It's very pollen-y here, so I'm a little scratchy this morning. I'm also a little bit rushed because Alan is on his way home. He had to work overnight last night, but he's on his way home with coffee, and then we're going to go for a walk at the botanical gardens. So I'm very excited. We haven't been in a couple weeks. Usually we go like every weekend, but we haven't been for a while, so it'll be nice to go see everything. My next finished object is actually 2 finished objects combined. So these are e-reader cozies by Leslie of Knit California. Or California Knits. Knit California. I always forget which order those go in. It's Leslie of Knit California, I'm pretty sure. These are her e-reader cozies, which she just released not too long ago. I made 2 of them from scraps. So let's see. I have a Kindle Paperwhite with a case. And the yarn I used is just scrap yarn from my scrap basket. I don't even have labels for most of these anymore. The dark purple in this is just a dark purple, like sparkly yarn. And the other yarn that I have is like this light purple to light blue to white kind of fade. It's not really a fade, but it's variegated. And I forget what the actual name of the yarn is. It was something about like a hummingbird by an icy lake. It had like a very poetic name. And I also forget her dye name. Her name is Sonia, the dyer. Her name is Sonia. I forget what her dye name was. I don't believe she dyes anymore. But that was my very first skein of hand-dyed yarn that I ever bought. So when I was picking yarns for this, I thought that was really a cute sentiment to add that one in here. The pattern, I believe, calls for DK weight yarn. She also, in the pattern, has a gauge calculator, so you can put in the measurements of your e-reader, whichever brand you have, and you can put in your gauge, and it will formulate your stitch counts for you. It's also helpful if you want to do stripes, so you can put in your gauge and the dimensions of your e-reader, and it will tell you, like, it'll help you figure out where to put your stripes. So this is mine. I have a little tag that says made by Katie at the top that my friend got me from Etsy. I don't know if that's focusing or not. My viewfinder only shows me like a portion of what you guys can see, and I'm not sure like how focused that was. But the pattern has 3 different closure options. You can do snaps, a zipper, or an I-cord with elastic. I chose that option, so I have my elastic sewn in here. And then this is Alan's. He has a regular Kindle, so it is a little bit smaller than mine. These are also just scraps. This was 2 fingerings held together. This stripe, and the I-cord are the same yarn. They were a DK weight yarn. There was like an Ariel themed colorway, and I made a Sophie scarf out of that a while ago, so I had a lot of leftovers. And then the red is the same yarn held double, and the pink is the same yarn held double. And then this was a DK weight yarn by Aster Fiber Co. She's no longer dyeing either, I don't think. But I made a Valkyrie headband out of this one. I also have my tag, and it also has elastic. These are great scrap busters. This one for the regular sized Kindle used 31 grams of yarn, and this one used 39 or 38 grams of yarn. I will say my gauge was much different than hers because I went down like 2 needle sizes, and I had to take a ton of stitches away to get a fabric that I liked and be any close to like them fitting. So my gauge is much different than Leslie's. I have plans to make several more of these. There is a cozy along happening. I believe it's May 1st through May 31st that Leslie of Knit California and Natalie of Knitty Natty are hosting together. So I am in the Discord thread for that, and I'm planning on making a few of these. I have a lot of people in my life who are big e-reader people, and so, sorry if you can hear my cat playing. I have a lot of friends in my life who are big e-reader people, so I am planning on making several of these as gifts. She's currently trying to get into a box that is not a good idea for her, but that's fine. Okay, let's get into some works in progress. I'm going to show you the two that you've already seen, and then we'll get into some new ones. So first, I have my half-finished object. I have the kind of sort of second breakfast socks by Sock Witchery. I say kind of sort of because I messed up the texture pattern, and then I just went with it. This is in a sock set by 29 Bridges. I believe the sock set is called Patagonia, but I could be wrong. I know that this yellow is Little Miss Sunshine, but I don't remember what the sock set was called. My second sock and I have had some issues. We have not been friends up until recently. We are past the heel. I just picked up for my gusset stitches. So we're getting there. We're on the gusset decreases. The first time, this is the third time I've knit this sock. The first time I got to about here, and then my project bag got a little bit wet and bled hot pink all over it, and so I just cut it off and threw it away. The second time I got almost done with the foot, and then I put them on sock blockers for a super cute picture for Instagram and realized that they were very different sizes because I knit the second sock on a US size 0 instead of a US size 1 like I normally do. Grabbed the wrong needles and didn't pay attention and just knit away. So ripped the back. This is the third time, and that so far we're doing pretty well. I'm hopeful that I will have these done by the end of April, which is just a few days away, but I'm hopeful. Okay, the next work in progress that you have already seen is my Cottage Living sweater by Victoria Marchant Knits. This is also a test knit. Oh, sorry. Throwing needles everywhere. This is my Cottage Living sweater by Victoria Marchant. I have the whole back done. I am a few rows away from doing the ribbing on the front. The yarn that I am using is Wool and the Gang Alpachino Merino, which is a 60% merino, 40% baby alpaca. It's a bulky weight yarn, and the color is Cameo Rose. It's a gorgeous yarn. It's so soft. It's so fluffy. I love it so much. I cannot wait to wear this all the time. It's so, so soft. So the cool thing about this sweater is that after you finish the knitting portion, there is an embroidery piece that goes on the front, and I'm so excited to try that. I have never tried embroidery before, so that will be a new to me craft. I have started knitting on this sweater about 30 minutes every morning. I can't knit on it for too long. Like, I can't do like a knit marathon with that sweater just because of the bulky yarn. It kind of hurts my hands after a little bit. But 30 minutes is a pretty good time, and I get quite a bit accomplished in that 30 minutes. So I've been doing that. Hopefully that'll help me keep going through this test. I'm really excited to get to the embroidery piece. I cannot wait. Oh, speaking of knitting marathons, to finish this sweater in time for sub ball, I put on the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the extended editions. So they're all over 3 hours each, and just that's how I got through these sleeves, was Lord of the Rings knitting marathon. It was so fun. I had a great time. Okay, so my next work in progress you have not seen yet. It is just a little strip of ribbing so far. It will be, when it grows up, the Secret Summer Crop by Jessie May Designs, which is a free pattern on Ravelry. I have a super cute little mermaid stitch marker on here. I am doing several tests, so I just finished this test. I have my Victoria Marchant test, and I have 2 other tests, which I will talk about in a second. But I decided that I needed just a mindless like palette cleanser where I don't have to pay attention to the pattern because I don't need to be looking for errors in the pattern. I can just knit and not think about it. So mostly stockinette in the round tank top. Here we go. The yarn I am using, it's, this was a lot farther along, and then I realized I didn't really like the gauge, so I ripped it out and went down a needle size. Also, as I was ripping it out, I realized that I cast on the wrong number of stitches anyways, so my brain, it was not there yesterday. We had a rough day yesterday. It didn't show up for work. The yarn I'm using is What the Flock. I bought this years and years ago. It was a Disney colorway. I want to say it was Hades, but then when I say that out loud, I'm always like, I don't know if it was. So I don't remember what the character was, but it was wound up much neater yesterday. So, super mindless. I ripped it out to fix my stitch count and go down a needle size. I'm doing it on a US 6 instead of a US 7 just because I wanted a little bit of a tighter gauge. Oh, I should talk about this cute little thing. I don't know what it's called, but it is super nice to put your yarn on and then it just spins while you're knitting. I actually get those, I have these little things that you can like hook on the table when you're out and you're supposed to like put your purse on it to keep your purse from having to sit on the ground. I bring one of those in my project bag now and then I just hook this to it. It's also nice for like walking, so I'm going to take this with me and knit while we're walking around the gardens today. I will link a shop. I don't know where this one came from, but I will link a shop that has the most gorgeous options. I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but Rachel is Knitting posts her all the time. But I can't remember her name off the top of my head. I'll post it, or their name. I guess she didn't gender them. Okay. Do I have other works in progress? Yeah, well, kind of. I have a soon-to-be. I swatched for it. Does that count as a work in progress yet? This is going to be a test for Nicole of Common Thread Fiber, who I talk about all the time. This is going to be her Stolen Silver Spoons sweater. This yarn is Blue Sky Fibers. It is 100% Highland wool, fine Highland wool. It is so soft. It is non-superwash, which is my favorite. I love a more like rusticy, not superwash yarn. The Alpachino Merino is like, I love that, but this is more like rusticy. It's not scratchy to me. And Alan doesn't think it's very scratchy either, which he's very wool sensitive. Like it has to be superwash or like 100% baby alpaca for him. But he likes this feeling too. So I don't know if he could wear it next to skin all day, but he doesn't think it's scratchy. So Blue Sky Fiber, it's worsted weight, 100% fine Highland wool. I bought this is also deep stash. I bought this years ago, probably like 5 years ago, to make a cardigan. I forget what the pattern was called, but it had like foxes on the bottom. It was very cute, but I don't think I was quite ready for sweater knitting at that time. I was still like, I needed instant gratification projects or really quick gratification projects, and I wasn't that fussed about like gauge or anything like that, so I don't think I was quite ready. But I ended up ripping it out very quickly after I cast it on, and it's just been sitting in my stash. I'm really excited to use it. I cannot wait to have this sweater. The sweater is gorgeous. She's also been working on a light version, and I was like, I want to test both, please. Here it is, all caked up. These are actually 150 gram cakes. So it feels really good to be pulling from like deep stash. I'm really excited about it. Okay, my next soon to be work in progress is also another test. I went a little overboard with the test applications. This is going to be the Heal Your Wounds tee by Goth Witch Knits. Is that right? Yes, Goth Witch Designs. Sorry, Goth Witch Designs. I am also pulling from Deep Stash for this. This was also bought like 4 or 5 years ago from Sock Peddlers, which I forget whether they're in Oregon or Washington, but they're west, like Pacific Northwest somewhere. So I'm gonna fade. I thought a fade would be really, really fun and a great way to use up these 2 skeins that I have been saving for a special project. So I'm going to use these 2. These are both Fiber Seed Sprout Sock. So the base is 90% merino wool and 10% nylon. And this is kind of a lighter fingering, so I am going to have to make sure that I get gauge okay with it. But the color, oh, I wish Alan were home. It's Violet Beauregard. Beauregard? It's French. I don't know. Sorry. Can you see that okay? I can't tell. They both have the same colorway name. They just have different dye lots. So, I don't know. Do with that what you will. So I'm going to swatch for that. I'm hoping that I meet gauge with that. It is a little bit of a lighter fingering. Like it has like 510 yards, but it is 136 grams. So I guess that's pretty on par, right? I didn't realize it was 136 grams. This is a 136 gram skein. What an interesting number. Have you ever had a skein that was 136 grams? I've seen like 100 and I've seen 150. I don't think I've seen 136 before. Is that a common thing? Anyways, as long as I get gauge with that or am close enough that I won't be doing like huge gauge math things, because when testing I try not to do like wild changes to the pattern, but we'll see. I have another soon to be work in progress that is not knitting. I got this super cute little embroidery kit. Little bee with flowers. I got this from Michael's, and I got it because I have never embroidered anything, and the Cottage Living sweater requires a big embroidery piece right on the front. So I want to practice and like learn what I'm doing before I do it on my sweater. So I bought this embroidery kit plus a lot of other embroidery tools, you know, just in case. It comes with everything you need, and I'm really excited to dive into this and learn how to do it. I'm excited to have this cute little bee to hang on my wall. I think it'll be so precious. So that's also a soon to be work in progress. Okay, I think that is all of the works in progress that I have to chat about. Did I miss anything? I don't think so. So I'm gonna just chat about a couple of other things now. One of which is that I made myself a bingo card. Just as a fun little game for me to like play with myself. If you want it, I'll share it with you. That's fine. But I basically decided that every project can be used towards 2 squares, up to 2 squares. This one checked off my use lace square. I think that's the only one that I'm going to count this one for. But I am just kind of using it as a way to stay focused on like things that I want to do. Like some of it is using deep stash, using patterns I already have, using patterns from my pattern books because I buy pattern books because they're super cute and then I never use them. So just things to kind of stay focused, but also things to try new things, like trying new crafts, trying new techniques, trying new constructions. I tend to be pretty like strict in my constructions that I use. Like I'm always a top-down girly unless it's tank tops. I'll do bottom-up tank tops, but I haven't done like a bottom-up sweater. So I'm kind of trying to experiment a little bit more with some things, trying new designers, trying maybe smaller designers. I feel like I'm pretty designer diverse, but just staying mindful of that. So that's my bingo card. I'm also doing stash stats this year, where basically I'm just keeping track of my yarn in versus my yarn used, and I'm trying to use more than I have purchased or brought in. So far, I have not done that a single time. I think I'm going to do it in April, though. I should be good for April. I only have a couple more days to resist buying anything, and then I'll be good. I will win in April. I'm going to lose in May because it is Maryland Sheep and Wool, which I am going to. Are you going? Are you going to Maryland Sheep and Wool? If you are, let me know, and I would love to, like, say hi in person. I love meeting internet friends in real life. But I'll be at Maryland Sheep and Wool, and it's also my birthday in May, so usually lots of yarny things happen at that time. There's no way I'm going to win in May. But for the second half of the year, I am hopeful. We'll see. But I think I'm going to skate out in April as long as I don't go on a spending spree before the end of the month, which is only a couple days away. I can do this. So Maryland Sheep and Wool, I will be there. I believe I'm going to be there on both days. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be there both days. I'm just waiting on a confirmation. My dog sitter had to get verification about a work thing, but I believe I will be there Saturday and Sunday. So hit me up on Instagram and hopefully we can say hey in person. That would be so exciting. I have a few people that I'm really excited to meet up with or like meet for the first time in person. So I'm like giddy about next weekend. I keep glancing over here because that's where my notes are. I don't want to forget anything. I bought a New Year's countdown box. Tis the season to buy Advents. And when everybody was putting out their like Advents or their winter countdown box, I don't celebrate Advent, so it feels weird calling it an Advent, but holiday countdown box, whatever you want to call it. When people have been putting them out like all month, and I've been kind of like ugh about it because I'm not in the winter spirit. Spring has just sprung. I am all about spring. Like I have the spring nails, I have spring hair, I have spring colors. Like I am all about spring. So people putting out winter countdown boxes, I'm like, ugh, not in the mood, not feeling it, not vibing, no. However, one got me. I bought the Secret Garden New Year's countdown box from 40 Winks Fibers. It is a 31-day countdown box for like the whole month of December. And it is a fade from like garden in the morning, garden in the afternoon, garden in the evening, garden at midnight. And I am so excited to use that. I bought it on the alpaca base. So I think it's alpaca cashmere silk. And I think I'm just going to make a big wrap or like an oversized shawl, like almost a blanket. And I'm so excited for that. So I did buy that. One got me. I love countdown boxes. I will count down to anything. I love countdowns for any kind of, like, next Tuesday. Totally. I just am not in the winter spirit, so I think I was just kind of put off about it. Also, we're moving this summer to upstate New York, but we don't know exactly when yet, so I don't have, like, an address to put in for shipping, but she said that she'll message me in, like, October to get my address, so perfect. The other thing is that so many knit-alongs or make-alongs are happening right now. Are you guys participating in any? The ones that I'm doing are Earth Tone Girl, Denise of Earth Tones Girl, is hosting a I Love Books and Sock Knitting make-along. And I think the hashtag is like hashtag I Love Books and Sock Knitting 24 or something. It's very long. But I've been participating in that one. I've been doing my second breakfast socks while reading A Fellowship of Bakers and Magic, which is a cozy fantasy, like elves and dwarves and humans and wizards get together for like the Great British Bake Off, basically. And I'm loving it so far. I haven't been reading too much lately, honestly. But that's my entry for that. I did finish Uprooted by Naomi Novik. It was such a good story. I loved the storyline. I loved the characters. I was enthralled. Loved that book so much. Knittin' Word is hosting a Self-Spring make-along. I think it's called the Self-Spring Fling make-along. And it's just knitting something for yourself. And so I've been participating in that because almost everything I knit is for myself. Almost, not quite. I do some gift knits. I have some gift knits coming up for birthdays and such. But most of what I make is for myself. So I'm definitely participating in that one. And then the Cozy Along is coming up May 1st through May 31st. There's also an Amy Share make-along that I think is going until June. Let me see. I have a list. Yeah. Let's just look at my list instead of trying to guess. The Amy Share make-along is happening until May 31st. And I have been dying to cast on my oolong tank forever. I just keep putting it off. And I don't know why. Like, I want it so badly. I have yarn. I've swatched. I just keep putting it on the back burner. Right now, it's because I just need a mindless project, and it does have lace at the front. I don't think the lace is complicated, but it's just more than I want to do right now. So I don't know if I'm going to get it done for this make-along or not, but I would really like to have it done by the end of May. And then the Self-Spring Fling make-along by Knit and Word is happening until June 15th. The I Love Books and Sock Knitting Mal was supposed to end, I think, May 1st, but she extended it. She just said on her most recent podcast she extended it to May 31st, so that's exciting. I do have another sock project coming up as a gift that I will gladly pair a book with. There's also an Adventures in Stash make-along that's happening all year, and it's hosted by We Grow Wild. The hashtag is Adventures in Stash, and I'm really excited about that one too because a lot of what I've been making with this year is stash, or at least this month. Yeah, a lot of what I am currently making with is like deep stash, so I'm really excited for that one too. So those are all my make-alongs. There's also a M1 Yarns is doing a Back to Basics cal that's like about making basic sweaters that ends on June 1st. I don't know if I will knit anything that qualifies as a basic sweater. Maybe my Stolen Silver Spoons, but I'm not sure. Can you hear my dogs barking? I don't know what they're barking at. Anyways, do I have anything else I want to chat about? Reading and watching. We already talked about my Lord of the Rings knitting marathon. That was so much fun. Stuff Your Kindle Days was this week, so I did get a lot of new books on my Kindle, so I'm super excited to dive into some of those. Mostly like cozy fantasy, romance, paranormals, like spooky witchy books. So I got so many. I'm so excited to dive into those. Other than that, I think we're at the Rambly section now, so I'm going to hop off here. Alan should be home literally any minute. That might be what my dogs are barking at. He might have pulled in the driveway. And we're going to go for a really nice walk because it is such a nice day out. I am going to have to take the sweater off because it is like 70 something. It's supposed to be like 78 degrees in the next couple hours. So no worsted weight sweaters today, even lacy ones. So I'm going to go get ready and go for a really nice walk. I hope that you guys have a great day, whatever time of day you're watching this. And thanks for joining me. It really means a lot that you're here. And I'll see you all next time. Happy crafting!